Good morning, everybody. We're here in the garden. It's nice and early before the heat really hits us. Gonna take you for a little garden tour of our cut flowers. I don't really know much about it, so I've got an expert with me who grows them. And we're gonna start with these right here.
So those are two different colors of Euringium. They're a perennial in our area. They're like they look like a thistle almost in blue and white. And so we started this row here hoping to do more perennials that will bloom earlier in the season to kind of fill that gap after our peonies bloom out. So that's just starting this row here. And then if you pan further down, we've just plugged in some different colors of Gladiolus at varying stages. So we succession planted those. So at the end, those should bloom first, and then at the bottom here, these should bloom last. So hopefully we have a nice succession of Gladiolus blooms.
You can see why we use garden fabric here too. Obviously it's just to help with the weeds. It does trap in some moisture and holds heat, but you can see our weeds right here with the Gladiolus. We're constantly battling those. And the garden fabric just makes it a much more enjoyable experience and a lot less work. And you can see how neat and tidy everything looks.
We bump over to the next row here. This is my pride and joy. We started these back in, I think, on December 10th. They're Lysianthus. So they look like almost like a rose. And they have an incredible vase life. But the only drawback is how long they take to bloom. So you definitely have to invest a lot of time in growing these, but we enjoy it, so it's totally worth it to us.
Many different colors.
Yeah, we've got lots of different colors.
Lavender,
in,
purple,
varying sort of stages of growth.
whites.
And if you're wondering what the netting is, it's just to help if we get a windstorm or heavy rain or anything. It's to help so that they don't flop over. Those are Scabiosa in a few different colors. The third row is very puny and tiny eucalyptus that again we started in January. We're hoping with the heat that it really starts to take off. So this is the baby blue variety, the smaller one. And then my favorite is the silver plate. They look really pretty in bouquets when they get put on a little bit more size. On my search for a true blue flower, I tried just a few plants of the blue Salvia. I believe it's called Persian blue. It's still got a bit of purple to it, but pretty nonetheless. We bump over to our next little patch. This is Black-Eyed Susan Sahara. I think there's one blooming right there if you want to pan over there.
Looks like a sunflowers.
Yeah. And then we've got a little patch of Achillea or Yarrow. This is my first time growing this as a cut flower. This is in more of a pastel color palette, so I'm excited to see those get blooming. And then we have Bells of Ireland, which I didn't grow last year, but thought I'd give it a try again this year. So if you come in through here, they've got these really cool spiky sort of chartreuse green. Excited to use those. And then we have a little patch of Status in kind of like pinks and purples. That's just starting to bloom. Different patches of flowers in this row, starting with some Silene, Blushing Princess I believe it's called. We've got some Gomphrena, a couple different colors, pink, white, orange to use in the fall. And then we've started a few more snapdragons, but some didn't come up, so I've direct sown some shorter day crops like Cerinth, basil, that sort of thing to fill in the gaps. And then more sort of succession of snapdragons there. Hoping to have some farther into the season. I ran out sort of midsummer and really missed them. So trying to do a nice succession of those this year. Mostly like the Potomac varieties, some Madame butterflies, some costas. And then this is our first crop of it, so it's just getting ready to bloom, which I'm so excited about. It's probably one of my favorite flowers. So this is a greenery that I used last year, and I liked it so much. Obviously I did another patch of it this year. It's called Blue Amaranth, and it gets these really pretty sort of little bell-shaped flowers, and the pollinators love them. This is usually just totally covered in bees. The only trouble with this is you kind of have to harvest it right in the morning, and then give it some time to chill out in the water because it does wilt a little bit. And then on down the line we have asters. A couple of them are just starting to bloom. My favorite aster is the Lady Coral Lavender. It's this really pretty, like light, almost bluish purple color. Oh, there's one blooming right there. And then we have a patch of Mrs. Burns' lemon basil. It has such a wonderful smell, really nice to include in bouquets. We have a little patch of strawflower here. Everything seems to be behind maybe like a couple weeks, so we're anxiously waiting for some heat to arrive. I'm trying this out new this year, is lime millet. So it's got this really nice chartreuse green, adds a bit of foliage to a bouquet. And then we've got a patch of double click cranberry cosmos here. And then this is our patch of zinnias. I did a smaller patch this year. I like zinnias, but I just find that they can be a little hard to design with. Just did some of my favorite colors, some lime, some salmon, some of the Queen series. And then we move on to our dahlia row. So again, just anxiously waiting for these to put on some growth. We do have some blooms on some of the varieties. We grew lots of like pinks and purples, and then some nice oranges and reds for the fall. Here's a plant here with some nice blooms on it. That one's called Double Jill. Got some Cafe au Laits, which I grow every year. It's a popular variety. Probably the one I'm most excited for this year is Coralie. Sorry, that one right there. It's got like a pinky sort of purple coloring to it. In on our Amaranth. So this is the red spike Amaranth. I really used a lot of that last year in the fall. And I even did some drying with that and used it in Christmas wreaths. This kind here is Hot Biscuits, and this one is called Green Tails. And then we've got Sweet Annie. This one's a favorite. It smells so nice. And again, you can dry it and use it in wreaths for the winter.
And last but not least,
these are some pro-cut sunflowers, a lot of whites. White light is probably one of my favorites. And we've got various successions of sunflowers planted all over the property. Oranges, bicolors, plums. Really excited to have sunflower bouquets this year.
so I guess that's about everything, which is quite a bit. I'd say a lot of the stuff was planted late last year, so it's been a long time coming. We're excited to get the flower sales going. We have a couple weddings to do. It should be a fun summer.
We also wanted to do this video as a documentation for ourselves too, so we can see where we're at throughout the season and have a look back next year.
Hope you enjoyed our little garden tour, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.